just mic'd up with Mikey Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J. Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up, and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So I'm me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, there's everyone sitting around, who here thinks Ochinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's doing the 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the Spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Good show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it.
In the SEC is God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach, I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Monday, December 16th. We got a big show for you today. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Lloyd did have a lot going on this weekend. Lloyd, I got a nice little text from Lloyd. Let's go play golf.
Let's do some golf.
I didn't get to go because
There I am.
there you are. Didn't get to make it because we had.
But I got a text though.
Yeah, I got a text. And I appreciate the thought because it was a beautiful day on Saturday. We go play golf. We did not get to go play golf. I apologize for that. But there's a lot of things that were happening.
He said I'm with my real family, which hurt. That we were family.
I didn't say that.
I saw the screenshot. Yeah, I saw the screenshot.
Yeah. I was with my blood family.
My real friends, my real family.
All day for that Christmas.
What if you were playing golf?
What if I was playing golf?
Yeah, you lied to me.
Damn, that would be.
And I went out there anyway.
That'd be pretty messed up. And you caught me. Yeah. I was like when somebody calls you and you like ignore it and you're like, damn, I probably should answer because he's probably looking at me right now. If you don't know if he's around. Yeah, I've done that before.
Oh, like red light.
I was walking, doing something, and I didn't want to talk yet, so I just put it on silent, and then I got a text. Wow, motherfucker! I can't believe you just ignored me.
I was right behind you.
What if they catch you doing this too?
Ugh. Show the photo.
So now if I'm in a public spot where I can't, if I'm in the PMAC or Tiger Stadium or something, and somebody calls
tailgating
me, or whatever, I'm like, fuck it, I gotta answer it because I don't want to be that guy that just hangs up on him and says, "Oh damn, I didn't know that you called," and lied to him right to his face.
Because I see you.
Yeah, because I see you. You know,
That takes max feel now. You gotta have some
No
feel.
doubt. Listen, you've gotta make the error a couple times to realize, hey, I'm not gonna do that. Like it's like hey, the nice to meet you again or nice to meet you introduction thing, and they say, oh no, we've met before.
Ooh.
Now it's always, hey, good to see you again. Good to see you. Good to see you. No, nice to meet you. Good to see you.
I struggle with that so much. I'm so bad at faces
you just
and
never know.
names, and I'm just like, oh, what's up?
Well, here's the deal.
And I'll introduce myself like, dude, we've met a couple times. Like, oh,
But here's the deal.
Whatever.
What if
I'm not gonna remember this one either.
What if you met this guy a long time ago? You don't remember it, but he like maybe it was more memorable for him than it was for you, and not meaning in a bad way, but like this guy remembers, you don't remember. But like, how can you can't expect somebody to remember you if you met him once or twice and it was years ago, and you haven't ever crossed paths again? Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, the dreadful thing that happens to me is the tailgate back-to-back home games. Like, ooh, it could have been last week.
Yeah, that one's tough.
And it's like, I'm clearly, there's a reason you probably remember I was probably blasted.
Yeah.
And
See,
so
I'm pretty good with like faces, so I usually can kind of get you with the. You look familiar, whatever.
We never met.
I'm bad with names though.
Terrible. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad with them. Self-admitted.
Yeah,
I'm
bad
pretty
with names. Bad with names. I gotta figure out like a name, a way to remember them.
Yeah.
You gotta associate them with something, right? Like
I've tried the whole like repeat the name.
Me too.
Say it 3 times after.
But you gotta like when you meet the person and you have a name like it's meeting you for the first time, Lloyd. Hey, my name's Mikey. Hey, what's up? I'm Lloyd. Nice to meet you. Then I'm saying, okay, Lloyd Christmas. Like something that like, okay, that's gonna stick in my head.
Association.
All right, now what if
You
you're
know what I
meeting
mean?
3 or 4 people in a row?
Then you gotta figure out association
That's
for all of them,
tough.
no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Michael Scott has it
but
figured out.
My problem is I
Pepperoni
meet
Tony.
you, then I meet this person, then I meet that person, then I forgot the first person's name by the time I get to the third person.
I forgot the first person's name before I get to the third person.
Yeah.
Like, that's how quick it goes.
I am actively not
So if you ever
listening.
meet us, it shows you how much we pay attention.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
I'll get my name out, and that's what it feels like I'm thinking of. Like, hey, Lloyd Courtney, like to introduce myself. It's like I was not listening to what they said.
Also, and we're
Sorry.
going
Yeah, here
through,
we go.
we're going through the Heineken headlines, and we're gonna
like
get
it's
there.
like learning the roster for the
we're
transfer
gonna,
portal.
we're gonna get there though, right? But the other thing that I think people need to savvy soul separately, if I'm introducing somebody and I don't say their name, I don't know it. So I need you
to step up.
To step up for me, and I'm introducing them to you for a reason, so I can remember the name.
Do you know how many times I've figured out somebody else's name with my wife, and I'm like, Mo, I need you to come here. This is my wife,
100%.
Morgan, and I'm waiting. I'm like, go ahead. Yeah, I need it
100%.
because I don't remember yours. Go ahead, give it to me.
So if I'm using you as that,
Shield.
understand the situation and help me out. Because if you don't, then I'm like, damn, now neither one of us know their names.
my bullshit becomes your bullshit.
bullshit.
Your bullshit is my bullshit.
And the worst,
No doubt.
same thing is when you do try to pull that move, and they wait for you to introduce them as well, and you're like, buddy, say your name.
You're like, I'm looking at you. I'm like,
But you always enter, hey, this is my wife, and you introduce the wife's name, and then she goes,
And then
hi, I'm
that's when
Allie,
she has
and
to
then they
step
say
up.
something back, right? She should take over, hey, I'm Allie, and then that's when he says, I'm
Scott.
whatever. But then when they don't, like, hey, Allie, nice to meet you, it's like,
Take a
man, that
bit.
was rude for you
Yeah.
not to introduce yourself. Come on now.
What, you're not going to tell her name?
And I'm like, then I need to go like, damn. Or they say, hey, you remember me? Yeah. Where we meet?
Yeah.
Oh, don't
Don't
do
do
this to
that.
me,
Don't do
dude.
that.
Like, are you
Don't be
kidding
that
me?
guy.
I'm trying to be polite, and now you're calling me out, and I'm like, I understand it, but like, come on.
There was a time when that happened a lot in life. I think we're all past that.
No doubt. Okay, let's get to the sports conversation. This weekend was a big weekend. Obviously, on
2:30 killer closer.
Huh?
2:30 a.m. closer. Oh, what's my name? I go.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. There.
Me either.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about there.
Mumble.
But
rattled.
big weekend for LSU. We talked on Friday about portal additions. They hadn't really had a bunch of the dominoes fall. I think the first one was Bauer Sharp, right? That was the first one who had committed or signed, and we had followed that up and said I would imagine that there's some more. The two names that we mentioned were Buren Brown and cornerback from Florida, Jakeem, what's his last name?
Jackson. I believe.
We said those are going to follow. They have. LSU has then rattled off commit after commit after commit after commit. I think they have 7 right now committed. 5 of those 7 are in the top 100 in the transfer portal rankings. In comparison to last year, LSU signed 1 top 100 recruit in the transfer portal, and that was the 100th recruit in C.J. Daniels. So they, as of now, have the number 1 rated transfer portal class in the country. There's obviously going to be more additions. I think Brian Kelly said he wants to sign at least 12 players in the portal, maybe some more. We shall see. There's a lot of guys still kind of entering their name in the portal. Alabama's 5-star freshman cornerback just announced that he is putting his name in the portal. Obviously, I don't even know if LSU is on his list, but my point in saying this is there's a lot of guys that are going to continue to put their name in the portal, and you have the playoffs going on right now, so some of these teams, some of these players may enter the portal after the national championship game or whenever their season ends. So it's been a great weekend, obviously. We're going to talk about all the additions, what else we need to add, and the guys that we currently have added.
And one, Jay Johnson, not to be outdone.
One, Jay Johnson. Listen, he saw all these things happening. He probably sees, damn, they're posting these emojis and they're getting all these. I got to go. I'm not recruiting hard enough. He goes out there, puts the tiger emoji out a couple hours ago, I think. Maybe a couple minutes ago.
30 minutes.
30 minutes ago. And so that means that there is a commitment that's going to be announced here soon. Obviously, LSU baseball recruiting is going to continue to roll because of Jay Johnson, because he does not sleep. College football playoffs start this weekend. 4 games, 1 on Friday. So you get to enjoy the 1 game on Friday, and then if you have a wedding on Saturday, like some people do, it's an unbelievable day. It's unbelievable Game day on Saturday. You got an 11 a.m. game.
Got a wedding are you going to?
You got a 3 p.m. game, and you got a 7 p.m. game.
Good weather. Nice weather.
Oh, frisky.
Yeah. That's a big game day. Big game day this Saturday. 3 big games. Obviously, this is the first year of the 12-team playoff, and the first day of the playoff bracket starts on Friday and Saturday. What's that?
What do you think? Obviously, it feels like you have to go to this wedding.
Yes.
What if LSU was in the playoff? Home game at night. You missed the wedding?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm not getting married.
I would imagine, yeah. You know what? Because they had, yeah.
You got to plan better.
Boy, you know what the playoffs, that actually reminds me. The playoffs are going to screw up wedding season. Because December and January, wedding season in the SEC, right? Because
you have to wait.
That's usually when you're off, right? That's usually either the bye week weddings or, December, middle, end of January. With these playoffs, now there's only two weeks in the middle of December.
Would have got my wedding, that's for sure. Well, kind of. 22nd.
January?
Yeah.
No, you'd have been fine, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, but it would have been tough. The way we did it would have been tough.
Well, your wedding was when?
22nd. That's what I'm saying. It would have been tough.
No. What?
January.
Year. Oh, January. So for instance, me and Allie got married on January 17th. That Monday before our wedding, that was a national championship game, LSU national in New Orleans. So we did that, and then it was a great week. Great week. That was a great, wonderful week.
Timed this out perfectly.
But yeah, so that screws up the wedding. But yes, if it was LSU had a home playoff game, my wife would have to just deal with it. I would miss it.
Yeah, and she would go.
Or she'd miss the wedding too and say, hey, let's just go to this.
Yeah. Because there's not a world in which, especially this year when it's the first ever.
Black tie's tough too. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's asking a lot of people. Luckily, we don't have to travel. So, should be a fun wedding though. Should be good. But fun Saturday with college football. Doubleheader tonight for Monday Night Football. Chicago at Minnesota, Atlanta at Las Vegas. And then obviously we cannot end these Heineken headlines without mentioning Travis Hunter. Obviously he wins the Heisman Trophy this weekend. Closest vote since 2009, I believe. Second defender to win it behind Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
Right? I think, and look, there's a lot of controversy.
Who won it in 2009?
Was it Ingram?
Yeah.
Ingram?
Mark Ingram? He beat out who?
That's
I don't. It was close, obviously.
I think it was a quarterback.
Was it Tebow?
Was it?
No.
Was it the guy from Ohio State? Troy Smith? Is it Troy Smith?
No, that was before.
That was it. That was like
that was
06.
That was 06. What was I saying?
2009 Heisman.
Well, Mark Ingram won it.
It was definitely Mark Ingram. I just don't remember.
But this was the closest vote since then. When Charles Woodson won it, he was the last defender to win it. He obviously played both ways. I think that was a little bit controversial. Was that the Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
He won it over Peyton Manning, right?
Yeah, and Randy Moss.
Yeah.
And so that one was, it felt like that one was a little bit more controversial than this one. I know some people said that obviously Genty should have won it, but I think with the way what Travis Hunter did this year, I think this was the two defenders least controversial.
It was Ingram in first, Toby Gerhart in second.
Toby Gerhart.
What a throwback.
What a name. Wow.
Colt McCoy in third.
What a name.
And maybe the guy that should have won it but didn't, speaking of defensive players, Inamik Sue.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, Sue. Sue had some crazy numbers that year.
Yeah. Chase Young was there in 2019, right?
I believe so.
Right, with Joe Burrow?
Yeah, that was just a formality.
I believe. Because
could have just invited one person.
Yeah, that was the largest. This was one of the closest to 09. That was the largest ever in history. That was almost a
kind of wild to see how much
consensus.
How much of the backlash Travis Hunter got this year too. I'm like, what? People were going crazy about him. People were not happy. There's a lot of people, like a lot of the consensus, you look on Twitter and anything on X and anything, a lot of people were like, I can't believe he won. This should have been a landslide for Genty, which obviously was a crazy good year. But I'm saying, for some reason, people forget what kind. And now, listen, this isn't really into the Heisman voting, but I think it plays into how people see Travis Hunter. But people forget what kind of recruit he was coming into college. And then obviously he goes that 1 year to an HBCU, and people think like it's not the same type of player. And then you forget that Colorado's in the Big 12, and they're like, oh, he's not playing real ball, and he's not that good of a player, and he's a small dude. I'm like, yeah, I think y'all forgetting exactly who the kid was coming. Like, he was always a dude.
No doubt.
Always a dude.
No doubt. And look, I don't know why people look, if Genty would have broken Barry Sanders' record, right? Most rushing yards.
I think he will. There's a good chance he will.
He's
like 153 yards away.
Is he? Mm-hmm. How many touchdowns?
I don't know. Yardage wise, I think he will.
So then maybe not. But I think Travis Hunter, what he did has never been done before ever.
If we're sitting here talking about a guy that's top 5 in like touchdowns, top 5 in receptions, and he's like top 20 also on the other side of the ball, and people are like, they're talking about snaps. I'm like, I don't think y'all understand. To be able to go on the other side of the ball and do what he did and play that amount of snaps and stay that healthy, we've never seen that before. Yeah. And it's unfortunate for somebody like Genty that it's in the same year, but we've never seen that before. And it's crazy what he actually did this year, and it needs to be celebrated for what it was.
No doubt.
I think he was a rightful winner.
Well, look, there's a lot of guys in these Heisman Trophy ceremonies, right, these years that, hey, had they not been there that year for this particular Heisman Trophy, like, hey, if they had this type of year the year before, they would have won the Heisman.
Right.
If they had this year, if they stayed and had the year the next year, they won the Heisman. That's what makes winning the Heisman so hard. You have to have a special year that year and be the best player in college football. I think they got it right. Do you agree?
Yeah, I can see the argument for Genty just because if you take him off the team, like you start saying
100%.
MVP
but it's never that
Heisman.
way.
Right. And for Genty's case, he had 344 carries, 2,500 yards, 29 touchdowns. Barry Sanders had 373 carries, 2,850 yards, 42 touchdowns.
So how many? Like that was rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
So he's 300 yards away.
Yeah. Well, and the argument there is like he didn't play in the second half of a lot of these football games. So if it would have been closer competition,
that's ridiculous.
You
can never have that argument.
You can't make that argument.
You can never have that argument.
It's not that.
That's not what the Heisman is. You can never have that argument.
No. And look, the workload's there.
People only get taken out in those situations because they are, 1, killing a team, and 2, you're usually a big reason as to why you're killing that team.
Yeah, right.
And you probably already got your numbers in the game, and they said, you know what, let's get them out of here. You can never have that argument.
Yeah. So anyway, he had an unbelievable season. Deserved the Heisman. Also, Travis Hunter deserved the Heisman. Now let's get to the LSU conversation. Hopefully, we have a new Heisman on the mantle in the football ops building. Nussmeier, one of the early favorites. I think they listed about 10 names going into this offseason, or I guess in the bowl season of next year's Heisman odds. He is, I think, top 5 or top 4 in the odds, maybe third actually, in odds of guys returning next year on winning the Heisman. He's obviously announced that he's coming back. I think a lot of that announcement has led to a lot of these guys making the decision to come to LSU. I think one of the biggest pickups, and we're going to go through all these guys, right? But I think one of the biggest pickups, and I think what what sets LSU up more than a lot of the other things is Michael Van Buren, the quarterback from Mississippi State, was a freshman. You say, oh, he's from Mississippi State, he's a freshman. Yeah, but he threw for just under 2,000 yards. I think he threw for 1,800 yards. He had 11 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions. Nothing special. True freshman. Like, that's a very – and Jared talks about it all the time, how hard it is to play as a true freshman in the SEC, especially as quarterback, right? He wasn't supposed to start. He's the backup. He comes in, he's thrown into the starting job and plays pretty well for being a freshman, a true freshman. His best game was against the best team they played in Georgia. Threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Threw some really good deep balls. Very athletic quarterback. But I think the most important thing of this signing or this commitment is he was a true freshman. So he comes here. He is going to not come. He's not a competition. He's not going to come here to beat out Nussmeier. But he's going to come and be the backup to Nussmeier. He's going to hopefully redshirt. That means Nussmeier doesn't come out the game and this guy doesn't getting into the game. And hopefully he's a redshirt freshman going into next year. And now you have an experienced guy who's been in college for 2 years. He's going in his 3rd year, and he's potentially the next quarterback, him or Hurley, right? You're going to have a quarterback battle, and now you have a deeper quarterback room and some competition. And I think that's what makes that one so exciting for the future. And you also had a good point about something else that you're looking at, or I guess a reason why they would go out and get him for this year.
Yeah, I think, and it's you got to remember, Hurley reclassified 1 year or 2 years. He's a super young kid, right?
I think he was already young for his grade, but then
he reclassified. He's super young
because he got to LSU at 16.
Right. Okay. So, with that being the case, I think a lot of that move also had to be, look, it doesn't really matter what we project you out to be, but the simple fact that you haven't had meaningful snaps yet and you won't have had meaningful snaps going into next year, I do think there is a serious premium on getting wins next year just in the event that something were to happen to Nussmeier. You have someone who has upside but who also has experience. And that kid playing a lot last year as a true freshman, I believe bringing him into the fold a little bit will give them kind of that security at that position, because if something were to happen either early on or somewhere during the year, you're not kind of stuck up Schitt's Creek with someone who just doesn't have that experience yet.
Right.
Not saying that he can't do it, but you don't want to be – nobody wants to be – look, it's a different situation if you got Jalen Hurts and you got Tua, who you just believe is better. And I'm not saying that he's not Tua. My point is you wouldn't want to be stuck there with just the Tua if you had other options.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of this move was going for. So I think that they kind of put that stuff in mind.
And look, maybe LSU's not planning on not playing him. Maybe they're not planning on redshirting him. Maybe they're going to have packages for him to come in there. I don't know if that I would lean more towards the redshirt side than the, hey, we're going to have packages for you, we're going to get you in there to play. I think this guy says, you know what, I went to Mississippi State, I played well enough, I was a pretty good recruit. I see what they're doing with the quarterback room. I see that there's an opportunity for me to go there, give it a year to understand the system, and then go and follow up behind Nussmeier, who's really good, and have a pretty talented team. I like the move. What do you feel about it, Lloyd?
I'm interested, like you mentioned, that package deal, because LSU was, I believe, in the 99th percentile in red
could be a red zone
offense.
dude.
Right. But then that leads me to believe that if I'm Garrett Nussmeier, I'm not coming off the field in the most important parts of the game because
100%.
we have a package deal kind of going on. Like,
right.
I don't know if that's exactly what would be the most conducive for the offense. I think it more falls to Sloan back in his second year, which I think is it feels like that's going to happen. Like,
Yep.
There's a lot of
And look,
banter
with
about
the tutelage.
Yeah, the tutelage of
Brian
Sloan.
Kelly?
Yes, and working hand in hand with Brian Kelly.
Hand in hand. Offense looked better the last 2 weeks.
It did, but
The competition wasn't as high, but
But it did feel like it was a little contentious between the two. So that's where I was leaning that Sloan might, whenever the Michigan offensive coordinator job came open, I thought that was a pretty viable solution if that's what he wanted to do, go with Underwood to Michigan, and Brian Kelly would have the option to slide in his guy, Tommy Rees, who he wanted to hire earlier. People have mentioned Tommy Rees as a possible tight ends coach for LSU because he's a Browns offensive analyst and quarterback position. I don't think he's a quarterback's coach, but he works with quarterbacks and helps with the offensive analyst. So
you're thinking that maybe they bring him on?
But I say that to say I don't know how much more contentious you want to make the room. If it's Brian Kelly with Tommy Reese, the guy he wanted as OC, then you have Sloan as
Hey, why don't you go sit in the offensive coordinator?
Right.
Why don't you go give him these notes? No. Yeah, I can see that. And I'm with you. I don't know if the package thing is like easy. It's an easy way to think of it, right? Hey, this guy's good. He transferred. He's not transferring not to play. I agree with all that. But he's transferring. You have a young guy transferring in. He knows he's got a fifth-year senior coming in there. I think he understands the situation.
Absolutely.
Understand where he's going to be. Hey, you have a guy who potentially is going to be the first quarterback taken in the draft going into next year, right? So, like, you are good, but this guy's done it. He's been in the trenches
He's a starter
for 13 games, right? Like, you've been there for 7, and look, good. But you'll be ready when it's time. So I think that's probably more the way. And you don't want to waste a year for, like, a few plays here and there. You know what I mean? Like, unless he's getting significant playing time, which I don't think you're going to do when you have a quarterback of that caliber, why would you waste a year to do that?
I agree. I think I think he's coming here to be in the system and compete for the job against Colin Hurley. Yeah, after Nuss leaves. Because you received a run of quarterbacks that everybody kind of had circled as potential NFL prospects all coming back, whether it be Nussmeier, now Alar. You're seeing Quinn Ewers get a lot of smoke of returning.
I'm curious. That
is getting louder and louder.
I know
as
that
the
one
days
is.
go right now.
That one's interesting, right? Like, he's either going to the NFL or he is going to another school. He ain't going to be back at Texas, and he has a chance to win a national championship. Like, he is in the playoffs as a high seed, potentially. They're hosting a first-round playoff game. Potentially could be a national championship winning college quarterback, and not be welcomed back at his school. Wow. Crazy.
I mean, you've seen some of those moves. You saw, I guess, Oklahoma do it for Jackson Arnold whenever they got rid of Dylan Gabriel, who was in the playoffs with Oregon after he led you to 10 wins.
Yep.
And
he hasn't lost this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Oklahoma he had 10 wins.
And he hasn't lost this year.
Oregon's the only undefeated team in the country.
And so you kind of shuffled him
and he
out.
was in New York.
And Oklahoma said, we're good on that. We're going to bet on the potential of the guy behind him because we're scared of him entering the transfer portal. It's the same thing, just magnified
You
times
lost both.
10.
You're scared of
and now you don't have either one of them.
Yeah, you're scared of losing the guy. Instead, you lose both. You bring in the guy from Washington State now, who is the number one player in the portal, I believe, or at least number one quarterback in the portal, according to On3. He just signed with Oklahoma, so they have their new quarterback. But I didn't mean to cut you off, Lloyd. I mean, what were you doing with your thought?
Yeah. Oh, no, I was just saying it's 10x what that one is because of where it is and the caliber of player Quinn Ewers is.
Yeah.
And everybody's really, really, really waiting to get
that's just a wild
Arch.
deal, dude. Like, you want winners, you want guys that have experience. Like, that's hard to find in college football. And you have a guy who's done all that, right? And then you're not going to want him back because you have Arch Manning, which, look, Arch is good. And I'm sure he's going to be great. But Quinn Ewers is really good. Like, what he's done. Now, if you know and you've seen Arch enough and you say, hey, it's not even close.
Is this the college version of the Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford situation?
Right? You would imagine, right?
See basically what this is right here?
Yeah, Goff
feels like it.
Goff got you to a Super Bowl and L.A., and then they're like, no.
Not good enough.
Not good enough.
He's not gonna hold the trophy for us.
Right.
Wow.
But there's a huge, I would say Texas is probably third? If you had to power rank the teams in the college football playoff, who has the best odds to win it all, I'd probably say Oregon, Georgia, Texas.
Coach, I'll be honest with you. For me, yeah, probably so. That will probably be the consensus. But after watching them play last time, it was almost like they got the answers to the test the first time they played Georgia. They looked good the second time they played them. They didn't win the game, but they looked good.
Yeah. It was a good game.
Yeah, and they killed the quarterback, Gunner.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, that's the other conversation about the playoffs. Georgia doesn't have their quarterbacks.
Yeah, we haven't quarterbacks.
Like, I don't think Carson Beck. I think they came out and said Carson Beck's probably not going to be ready, right?
Yeah, it's they're speculating. They went for a second opinion, I believe, but they're speculating a UCL injury, which is baseball.
Like a Tommy John deal.
Yeah. And so if that's the case, he didn't look like he could play or was going to be able to play even in 2 weeks. And then Gunnar Stockton doesn't know what planet he's on, and you don't even know the extent of his injury. Because
I know it was a concussion, right?
Yes.
So, you saw his eyes were rolled back. So, I would
not
imagine,
a doctor, but
I would imagine. I guess they had 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So you would imagine he's out of concussion. Maybe not though.
I don't feel great about Carson, being that it's been this long since the actual game, and we still haven't heard
he ain't playing.
Straight up diagnosis.
He's cooked.
Like, I feel like that's them telling you right here he's not going to be ready.
He's cooked. Now, for his sake, Tommy John surgery for quarterbacks is not as
he can Brock Purdy and be ready for next year.
Yeah, for sure. Brock Purdy got back pretty quickly. Didn't miss any time.
He didn't miss any time. Yeah.
And so it could happen the same way because it's not as much torque. You're never gonna tear your UCL and your Tommy John throwing a football. The only way you tear it is if you're throwing and some guy hits you in the arm and you don't have the ability to throw it. It's like kind of in middle of the motion.
Or if you start throwing curveballs in football.
Yeah. If you're throwing curveballs in football, I think you're in the wrong position. Let Brucey play quarterback.
Yeah, I shouldn't have that popcorn. It's like, you're trying to curve the bullet like Angelina Jolie. Read Wanted. Yeah, great flick.
How crazy if you could really do that. Look, that's his. Those are his eyeballs.
I mean, that was crazy. I mean,
what a picture.
That's not funny, but that's incredible right there.
Yeah.
He did get smacked right there.
Well, the thing that concerns
legal
me.
too.
I'm talking like just flatlined right there.
Well, then this is what concerns me more than anything is his knee.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he easily
No,
could have.
No. That's like the UFC stuff. When you get hit that hard and your body goes, man, them boys is like I don't think their legs feel it. It's like you go back to being a kid. Like kids can like
the Gumby.
Yeah, like kids can like squat like and do everything. You're just like perfect. Like I feel like that's what you go back to being when you get hit that. It's
body takes over.
Yeah, they know there's nothing. It's just I'm here. I'm not really here actually.
No,
he got hit hard.
Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he can get back in there because he didn't look terrible. Wasn't look great. They didn't ask him to do a lot of crazy things, but got in and out of the huddle. Obviously ran the offense, did what he needed to do.
One bad interception.
And
One bad
interception. Then he got killed, and then they bring Carson Beck to give the handoff touchdown. Thank God they scored.
What was that? That's what is kind of mind blowing to me is like how do you not? We got to expect a run here.
Well, I'm sure they did.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Or just kind
beat
of
that's
untouched.
That's the old saying. It's always like the really, really, really good teams is I know we're doing it. They know we're doing it. Everybody in the stadium knows we're doing it, and we still succeed.
Yep.
They knew they were running a rocker. There wasn't a question.
Carson Beck might as well had a sling on.
Yeah.
That thing was tied to his hip.
He brought it in like this. He wasn't even swinging it. Yeah.
But, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Obviously, we're mixing the conversation right now of the transfer portal and obviously the college football playoffs. We were talking about Nussmeier and talking about Michael Van Buren. That's the one I'm most excited about. They've obviously added more than just him.
Right.
They added, the question mark. What were the question marks going into the offseason? Tight end, right? Offensive lineman, which they have yet to I'm sure that's in the works, right? Edge rushers, they signed 2 of them.
Check.
Right? Secondary, check, right? That's kind of what you could tell. That's kind of where their focus is in. They lost a couple. We had a lot of heat because you lost the big cornerback recruit to Texas. You get DJ Pickett. Obviously, he was the higher-rated cornerback. He's coming into campus. You have the number 1 cornerback in the 24 portal on campus. You have the number 4 quarterback in the 23 recruiting class who transferred in from Florida. You bring in our guy from Virginia Tech. What's his name?
Our guy from Virginia Tech. I'm actually looking right now.
You know the name. You said it earlier.
I know I did say it earlier, but I was looking at all of the names.
Tafik?
Oh, he's not Virginia Tech. He's from.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one from USF.
Yes.
That's one. He's also on a visit. That's another secondary guy.
Yes, and then the Virginia Tech cornerback, which I think people are considering to be like a plug-and-play guy, Mansoor Delane.
Yep,
So
Mansoor, that's right.
Mansoor on the Boulevard.
Yeah.
We have Mansoor Delane coming in, Jakeem Jackson, and Pickett, and that's why Jared was kind of asking the question.
Anding.
He got hurt in the state championship in the second play.
Is it bad injury?
I think it's concussion.
Okay.
But, so you have, now it feels like
you have the depth.
Jakeem Jackson, Mansoor Delane, but you also have Ashton Stamps still on your roster, and you have Pickett joining the roster.
And you have Anding, because he was the number 1 cornerback in Louisiana, so he's very talented, right? And you say, you got too many. No, you need those guys. Yeah. Like, you can't ask, like, you're going to play 5 or 6 cornerbacks throughout the – now, it'd be nice for them all to be really good and play a lot and kind of, space them out. But I think what this does, because Mansoor, from what I've read about him, I've never watched him play, is a very versatile defensive back. He's played some safety, played some corner. I'm sure he can move over to the slot if he needs to. So he's kind of a plug-and-play, but also capable of playing all 3 based off the needs of that team. I think that's a good thing. Maybe it allows DJ Pickett not to be on an island early on unless he's proves early on in camp like, oh, yeah. You just go there. We're going to leave you alone, and you do what you got to do. But it gives options. It gives depth. It gives talent. And this is probably the most talented the secondary has been in probably, 4 years?
Yeah, since Corey Raymond was last year.
Yeah, it's a great infusion. They needed a whole bunch of talent. They needed a whole bunch of competition. They needed the things that they have in that room right now. And I think that's one that we should look for to be a big upgrade next year. How quickly it'll come together, we'll see. Obviously, that schedule we've seen, as we talked about last week a little bit, it's a little challenging pretty early. But they're going to need that. They need the depth there. They need some high-end players there, and they're going to need some guys to step up.
Well, you're going to have, like you talk about the schedule, right? You start the season off again on the road against Clemson, who's going to be probably a top 10 team because they're going to have their Klubnik's going to come back, right? I think he's already announced he's not going in the draft, which I don't think anybody really thought that was the case. But you're going to have a veteran quarterback back, a guy who actually had a decent season. And so now you're going to go there and you're going to get challenged early on. And it's going to be interesting to see what the secondary looks like. It's going to be an early challenge.
Yeah. I mean, you feel really good about the second level next year, right? If you're able to get high-end production out the back half of that, it could be really good, man. There's some good things going on. I like it. I think the linebackers out of all the defensive position groups, I think the linebackers they're the most ready right now with the guys they brought in, the guys they have returning. I don't know if they go out and get a transfer portal linebacker, like actual, not like an edge rusher.
Right.
Right? Like the guy from Florida is an edge rusher, right? I mean, he's a linebacker, defensive end / type guy, but edge rusher. I don't know if you go get one, but if you do, it'll be a veteran guy to kind of a plug and play. But you're right. I think our defensive structure of talent, I think it's really good.
Because I think people
it's not over yet either.
Yeah, I think people are going to start circling safety also for the defensive back room. But Mansoor Delane is okay with doing that. That might be your answer there because you did lose Sage Ryan.
Yeah, and I think he's got 6 career interceptions. 4 came this year. He has been a really productive cornerback.
Right.
And I think you do go get another safety. I think there's a couple guys out there that you're looking at. Obviously, the mystery is the one that's from Louisiana, who we just don't know if he's even ever going to play football again.
Yeah, that would be a huge question mark answered if you can get Jacoby.
I mean,
Matthews
there's not been a peep.
But I think there's also a big mystery too because you got to think about it. Now, we don't know who or where or what's going to come out of it, but there's also 12 teams playing that I'm sure there's some dominoes that's going to fall as they either get eliminated and or hold the trophy at the end of the year. So those 12 teams too are going to have some people that are going to want to opt out and look for greener grasses. So we'll see.
And I think I guess recruiting never stops, right? So to say these guys are in the playoffs, they're not really going out there in the portal is not true, right? Obviously their focus is on getting ready for the game and doing that, but they're still recruiting and they can still accept transfers. I think the difference is you don't have those guys departing yet from those playoff teams because they're still on the team, right? You may have some guys that are backups that are gonna play, and they may say, okay, well, if I don't get more time in the postseason or if whatever, nothing crazy happens, the guy in front of me doesn't get hurt, and I don't get in there, I'm gonna transfer. And so I think they wait for these guys to make their decision to transfer and figure out, okay, who do we need to go? What positions do we need to fill? What roster spots do we have available? And so I think some of these big guys in the portal may just hold off until after the playoffs. But I don't know, maybe not.
You've had a couple players that are on playoff teams enter the portal. I know there was one wide receiver from Arizona State that entered because the head coach retweeted it. It was like, couldn't love the young man more. And he's like absolute baller, speedster. Like he's already said if you want to, you don't have to wait. If you're trying to get into the transfer portal, I have no problem with you entering. Even though we're trying to be on make a playoff run and win a national championship. He's like, I'll do whatever I can to get you on another team.
Yeah.
So I guess it's multiple ways to skin a cat because didn't you say Texas and Georgia are the 2 teams that have the least amount of portal entrants?
Georgia's got 4 so far, and Texas has 8. I think Tennessee's got 8 as well.
Yeah.
But that's just in the SEC, right? So if you look at the SEC departures right now. You can think if theoretically are using common sense, you can look at, okay, the teams that aren't as good as the good, like the worst teams are going to have the most people in the portal because these guys, like, damn, we stink. I need to go somewhere else. Arkansas's got 27. Mississippi State's got 24. Oklahoma's got 21. A&M has got 20. Kentucky's got 20. LSU's at 16. Vandy's at 15. Auburn's at 14. Florida's at 14. Alabama's at 13. 14 now because this was before their 5-star cornerback entered. Tennessee's got 10. I take that back. Ole Miss has 8. Texas has 8. And Georgia has 4. So, you say, oh, LSU's losing a lot of guys in the portal. Everybody is, minus a few teams. Everybody in the SEC but 3 teams has double digits, and that's right now. I would imagine that almost every team is going to have a double-digit transfer portal departures, right? The difference is LSU had it early on. These teams had it early on. These playoff teams may have it a little bit later on.
You got to think about it early on. I would imagine a lot of the names that we saw literally just projecting, right? A lot of the names that you saw just on the LSU roster that decided to transfer out, if LSU was in a playoff situation, I don't think a lot of those guys would be gone yet.
No.
Right? So you got to think of it, that's what the situation is. I think because those guys are still playing quote-unquote meaningful football, they're going to stay there and see that part of it through until the season's actually done in terms of like stuff like that. So
no, completely agree.
Bama is having a tough time.
What happened?
You saw the 5-star corner from Alabama has recently hit the portal, and now there are rumors, speculation of Ryan Williams maybe hitting the portal, but they've been hit hard.
Wow.
That would be a big one.
Wow.
But it's hard to.
That's rumors. That's a big rumor to be floating out there. Was it from a reputable source or is it from like
it's just
Crimson Tide fan 99?
No, it's just everywhere.
Okay.
Like it's a lot of people are reporting on it, not as fact, just saying that there's rumblings coming out of Tuscaloosa that this could be the case. But
War Eagle 0707
I severely
came out there and
doubt
said, "Oh, these are rumors that Ryan Williams is transferring."
Well, and they don't want Jalen Monroe back.
baby.
The same guy that burned down the tree got internet access now. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna burn this whole thing down.
Yeah. Let me just mess with Alabama right now.
But they have been a team that has been kind of struggling with trying to retain, and after they recruited it really well.
Yep. And that's the thing, right? And we talked about this last week. Dion has said this. You're going to go out there and you can bring in a really top-tier recruiting class. Not all those guys are going to play. You're not going to hit on them all. Or they may not be ready to play as early as some of the other ones. But they're not going to wait it out. They're going to leave and try to go play somewhere else. And so your recruiting class, no matter how good they are, you're going to lose them at some point. Not all of them are going to stay. And I think you're seeing that, right? You can bring in a good recruit, and you have to. You bring in good recruiting classes. All right, here's a competition for this year. Who's gonna put themselves in a position to play and impact our team? All right, those guys are here. Who's not going to play? Who doesn't feel like they're ever going to get an opportunity? All right, now they're going to leave. That's just kind of the reality of
this is per On3, their transfer portal portion of their website. Alabama 31 transfers out, 14 transfers in for 2024. So,
that was going into 20.
That was last year. So now I'm looking up for what they are currently at this year. LSU sitting at 45 on the transfer portal index.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
the TBI.
Yeah, duh. Get with the program.
Back to the guys we got. Who are you most excited about in the portal that we got so far?
Well, the one that I believe has
intriguing to you.
I think the one that is the most intriguing that hasn't been announced as officially for LSU but visited yesterday, I think Nick Anderson. They had 10 touchdowns as a freshman at Oklahoma. Obviously was one of the guys, like their best receiver coming back. And
are you saying something here? Like, did you hear something that?
No, I'm saying that's the most intriguing one to me. If he does decide to sign with LSU, I think that would be probably one of the bigger gets because you're still, while you've had an influx of talent at receiver, he's one of those bigger body receivers that we've been kind of eyeing that LSU needs to replace because you lose C.J. Daniels, who's 6'1", then you obviously Kyron Lacy leaves for the NFL draft, he's out of eligibility, and so you're trying to find one of just a different style of wide receiver than you've added recently.
Right, and look,
and I'm not mad at what they got.
No, listen, and look, Barry Brown. Here's the other thing: if he's as big as he's listed at 6'1". That's not. I wouldn't consider that a small wide receiver right now, right? Like he's not the 6'4" Randy Moss who beats down the field and throw jump balls, do everything he wants to me. But He's a 6'1". He's a speedster. Obviously, he can fly. He's super athletic, but it's not like he's Aaron Anderson, who's like 5'9", 5'10", right? Like I think he's got a little bit more size to him. But to your point, he's kind of in that same mold of we're going to move you around. You're not going to be on the outside every single play, and that's what Nick Anderson brings you. And I think that would be a good one to have, no doubt. But out of the 7 that we have, obviously I told you Michael Van Buren. Do you have a favorite so far, or you don't really care yet?
So the room of the secondary is big for me. The one I guess I'm probably looking at the most is probably Jakeem Jackson, and it's because there's a couple reasons, right? The kid's from Florida. He's from, I think, Kissimmee, Florida. He's from Florida. He went to Florida. Florida beat that ass this year, and he still wants to come here.
Yeah.
So for me, there's a lot going on, and I know they were deep in that room. They had a lot of guys there. I don't know exactly how many of them are leaving, how many of them are staying. I don't know exactly where he was seeing himself slotted at next year, but he's taking a chance to come and try his luck here, if you will. So I think that could be one that's got a possibility of being something big because he saw where they were. He saw what they did to us. He knows where he's from. He stayed there, and now he's going to want to change and come here. That's one I'm like, okay, well, what could this be? Because he's obviously willing to bet on himself in this situation. So that one interests me a lot.
Yep. I'm with you. What do you want to see happen here in the next couple of weeks?
Interested. I think the Virginia Tech center would be a great get for LSU.
Virginia Tech?
It gives you a little bit of
the center.
The center. Yeah. I think it gives you a little bit of more of a picture for what you want to do on the offensive line. Right.
So,
and I think you need to add offensive linemen when you have 4 leaving. I think the Emory Jones was kind of a pipe dream, but I never feel like he was actually going to come back.
I never felt like he was coming back.
Same thing with like Mason Taylor. I saw somebody say he could go undrafted. I was like, he's going to get picked. He's going to be he's the first tight end off the board if they don't take the Bowling Green tight end.
Yeah, which is
undrafted would be
insane.
Very hard to believe.
I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that happening.
But I think he's second, third round talent. So I think LSU needs help on the offensive line to be able to. And if you add a center and you want to move DJ Chester to one of the guards, it kind of
maybe that's better. Maybe it takes a little bit. Maybe look, I think physically, ability-wise, I think DJ Chester has a lot of potential to be a pretty decent offensive lineman.
I think also too, like especially once you get to the college level. Now look, the game at the high school level has evolved. They're doing a lot more.
Of course.
But once you get to the college level, being able to put all that stuff together at the center position it's tough to do for a young kid.
No doubt.
That's a lot you're putting on their plate. Probably because he's going to help and probably setting some of the protections and stuff like that. It's a lot. So maybe getting that off and letting him kind of play a little bit freer might help.
Yeah, maybe not having to think about who he's blocking, where's the protection, where's the blitz coming from, all this kind of stuff. Maybe not thinking that. Maybe it allows him to play faster, more athletic, bringing somebody else in the center position. That would help. That obviously would fill 2 spots. They like, is it Tyree Adams? Mm-hmm. They like him potentially moving to that tackle spot. Who's going to be playing tackle in the game? Is it Frazier?
Miles Frazier?
Isn't he back for the bowl game I'm talking about? They said they're going to slide someone over to the left side.
I think he was talking about Tyree Adams in the press conference yesterday. So he would be back. He's the one that had the sports hernia. Yeah. I guess they're going to play him in the bowl game. That's going to be the most interesting thing, like watching LSU, because I don't think he said Nussmeier's on a pitch count as of now, but he did 11 on 11. He's working to be able to play in the bowl game, and he expects him to. I'm just wondering how much you want him out there, and if that's the case, like who's going to be
playing? He wants him out. You know why he wants him out there? Just
to work with those guys.
No, you can't go in the offseason 8-5.
No doubt.
Oh,
you really can't.
It does matter.
It matters.
It's going to matter. Optics wise, it matters. I know it doesn't. It's not in the grand scheme.
It sounds like something very small, but that stuff it's gonna matter.
No doubt.
That's something that really.
You go out in the offseason. Oh, we're 9-4. Damn. Okay, we had 2 games where we probably should have won. Right? Like we had the opportunity. You could have been 12-2 or 11 and whatever it is. 11-2. 9-4 is 13. 11-2. You know, so like that's something to hang your hat on, obviously. And then you're adding all this. You brought in a good recruiting class, and now you're going to bring in potentially the best transfer portal class.
Because I don't know who's going to play defense
for us.
Right, no Jordan Allen, no Sage Ryan.
Suggs is out. Look, and that's the other thing. You're going to have the linebackers. You're going to have your secondary is going to be playing, except for Sage Ryan, which play Deshaun Spears, play the freshman again, let them go. Those guys are going to be playing next year, right? What?
Did you give him
Yeah, just see ya.
See ya.
You know,
Goodness.
but you know, you have Relaford coming in there. He had some time, had some moments. You're going to see him. You're going to see McKinley. You're going to see a lot of the young freshmen on the defensive front that were super talented coming in. That was kind of like the highlight of the recruiting class in the portal last year. Is you had some of this young defensive line talent with two really good defensive line coaches. So we'll get to see how they developed and what they can do.
Ahmad Bro.
You're going to have Paez is still there, right? So he's obviously not coming back, but like he's going to be
Play in
there.
the bowl game.
He's got a lot to play for because he's trying to get in the draft and have an opportunity to catch on with an NFL team. And that's the other thing about the draft. I mean, that's the other thing about the bowl game is it matters because it's another game that you can put on tape that scouts are going to – they want to look at what your most – they're going to look at your most recent game, and they're going to scrutinize that the most, and they're going to go backwards, right? So if you put out there and you say, damn, we played a bowl game, he prepped for it, he got ready for it, season was over, it didn't really matter, but then he goes out and balls out, I think that carries some weight in the NFL.
I mean,
at least in the scouting world.
I would imagine the bowl game helped Brian Thomas Jr. a lot.
Every opportunity that you're out there, right? Like it's going to help you.
Yep.
And when you give them an opportunity, when you give them a chance to dock something against you, because let's be honest, like the draft isn't about how much money can I pay you. It's about, look, I would love to put you in the spot, but like I got to also work for the company, which means I got to save us some money. So every opportunity that you give them to be able to dock you for what you're doing and what you're putting on tape,
Right.
they will take that chance. So as a player, it's your chance to go out there and say, no, I'm worth it. Turn on the tape and watch what I'm doing. And that's what those guys are going to go out there and do.
Agreed. When do you think any of these guys are going to make their decision here soon? You think Nick Anderson makes a decision like this week?
It depends. From what LSU has been doing, it's been get them on campus, don't let them leave. That's seeing a lot of these guys that have once they've taken their visit to LSU, they haven't gone anywhere else. I don't know if Nick Anderson lives in that world where he's going to be highly sought after and he wants to take all of his visits. So I think you can operate under the assumption.
Do you get the limited visits?
You have unlimited visits until the portal closes.
How
Do
crazy
whatever
is
you
that?
want.
How
Yeah.
crazy is that? You only got 5 officials, right? And coming out of high school? I don't know if they changed that.
There's no limit to to unofficial visits or official.
Unofficial. There's never been a limit to unofficial, but official where they pay for you to go there used to be only 5.
I think that has changed also, but I could be wrong.
Unlimited.
Yeah, I don't think all of those unofficial visits that Bryce Underwood were taking. I don't think.
Well, right,
those were
but like
by the book.
100%. You know,
You don't think he was just?
you think he played his own way?
Yeah, he just flew to Baton Rouge 10
for all
times.
of his family and friends.
Yeah, from Michigan. Like, yeah, man, this is a hard trip.
You think they sent the jet? You think they sent the jet for him?
Yeah, or paid for his plane ticket.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, but I don't know if maybe the jet causes too much of a circus.
Yeah. You know, that's tough.
But
That's
I mean, after seeing some of these NIL demands that have been circulating,
That's the other thing.
that was crazy.
So I don't know if this is true. Can you read?
Yeah, let me find it again.
You sent it to us on our on Twitter, didn't you?
Yes.
So I can pull it up. I have it right now. Also, I'm not gonna get that because that could be your mistake of the day. Okay, so this wide receiver who is in the portal, and I don't know if this is true. This is speculation. This is the same way people are speculating on what's happening with all the drones in New Jersey because you don't know any information. It's the same way we're speculating on this. This was posted on social media. This was it's been circling around. If this is true, it is asinine what these kids are asking for. Apparently, this wide receiver only had 8 receptions last year. He is now asking 7. No. This is Micah. This is
Texas Tech
Micah
wide
Hudson,
receiver.
not 8 receptions. He had Micah Hudson. Well, I don't know why it says 8 receptions in the tweet, but $700K minimum wire. So hey, when I sign up front, give me this $700.
It's my signing bonus.
Yep, give me my $700K. One installment. No, not 2. One.
I want the tax-free one too.
Yeah.
Don't hit me with the tax.
Yeah. One installment. Separate NIL deal for 3 cars for family members to sign immediately. This has got to be fake. Like, got to be. Personal driver with Cadillac SUV. Can't be a Denali.
No.
Cadillac. SUV for Micah.
Don't go to Chevy.
From spring practice through the end of the season. Family, hotel, and travel arrangements paid each game with up to 10 members to have travel, tickets, and costs paid for.
He got kids?
No shit, right? Like maybe.
Who you got in the family?
This last one is the one that blows my mind. Medical injury time off and playing after injury determined only by Micah and his family.
He wants PTO too.
This man wants to go and get paid for. If he gets hurt, he wants to be able to go do it. Go get your treatment done.
PTO. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do, how I want to do.
And I'm going to let you know when I'm ready.
Micah Hudson did only have 8 catches.
Did? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well.
Wow.
I hope that's not real. I'm going to just be honest with you. I hope that's not real.
That can't, I mean, that is ridiculous.
I just don't understand. Like, if, let's just say, in a world that is
I guess
real,
you can't get it if you don't ask for it.
No. In a world that is real, like, I see now why coaches are like, hey, man, give me a GM. I can't have these conversations. I just can't.
I mean, that's wild.
I can't have these conversations with you. I want you here, would like you here. You need to go deal with him to see if we can get you here, because I can't have those kind of conversations with you.
That's wild.
I hope that's not real.
Well, that's why even if it's not real, this is probably
not far-fetched.
That's
right.
what makes
The fact
it
that we didn't
interesting.
have to have a conversation about it.
It's like the fact that you're talking about this because you don't know what they're demanding. You don't know what kind of conversation you're having. You're trying to have conversations. He's a 5-star plus wide receiver that I'm sure is highly sought after. He signed with Texas A&M. I would not be surprised if A&M did something like this. Like, they have the means, and we'll find out when he has 3 cars.
Right. So maybe he said, look, 700. I don't know what the monetary value of like the actual cash payments to him are going to be, but the value of everything else on that is pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
and
1.4 probably.
Hotel car accommodations for up to 10 people for each and every game. Coach, that gets pricey.
Yeah.
That gets pricey.
Yeah.
You ain't stuffing them all in one room. That gets pricey. You ain't stuffing them all in one car. That gets pricey.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
The fact that we even had that conversation, it just shows you how crazy NIL stuff is right now, and like what's happening, what's going on out there.
Well, and that's what, like Belichick was talking about this a little bit on McAfee, where it's like, it's incredible kind of who you have to deal with if you weren't, like my advantage is I know who some of these, like I know the agents that represent the players because of my relationship, my time in the NFL. Like Belichick.
Yeah.
But he's like talking about these other people he's never heard of, where he's like, what are they?
Well, we talked about a couple of those guys last show.
Yeah.
They had a
former baseball player.
Started Upstart Insurance
Agent.
NIL agency.
Part-time
NIL agency. So he is representing players in the NIL market, but doesn't have an NFL license to practice in the NFL.
Yeah.
So these guys are and that's the other conversation. Anybody can do this.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a certification or a license or get approved by anybody. Lloyd could say, you know what?
Tomorrow.
I think I can.
I got real close with such and such.
Yeah, and I can talk my way through a lot of things. I'm going to go and I'm going to be an agent. And I'm going to go market it, and I'm going to go create a website, and I'm going to go find these guys who want to get in the transfer portal, and I'm going to go out there and try to get them NIL deals. Like, anybody can do it, and I think that's a whole nother conversation. Is like, these kids are making these decisions, and I know a lot of these parents probably have a lot of influence on them, but these agents have a lot of influence on them. Bill Belichick's already talked about it. He's familiar with the ones that he's dealt with in the NFL, but there's a lot that he hasn't seen. These guys can, say and do whatever they want. It's a wild thing. There's no regulation.
Well, and
they're influencing these kids' decisions, and they don't know shit.
Right, and there's no regulation on, like, what's a standard agent fee for a sports agent? Like, how much percent?
3, 4, 5% depends.
5,
3 to 5% depending on who you're with.
Yeah, they're saying some of these guys are claiming 20% for their agency fee to be able to make sure you read the contract. I would
even imagine too, like some of the wild wild west of this, because these guys that are not real agents are even going. Let's just say for some reason they are staying to that 3, 4, 5% area. I would even imagine what they're asking for is a lot higher because they want the higher commission too, right? So it's just it's a very wild world, and it makes it tough to be a coach right now. Very, very tough to be a coach. The head coach.
Yeah, I mean
That's why, we've talked about it before, but that's why you're seeing so many of these guys that want to go to the NFL as opposed to try to navigate a portal where there's no rules. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. Mac Brown wanted to come back. He wanted to stay in college football, but you've seen coaches like Chip Kelly go from, I don't want to be the head coach. I'll go call plays at Ohio State because I can't deal with all this.
Gus Malzahn.
Right. Like
Head coach, I didn't.
Been
I didn't
long-time
like that.
head coaches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not
Long-time
doing
and
that.
successful head coaches. They're like, yeah.
And the other part of that is coordinators, good coordinators are getting paid. I mean, Baker's getting paid $2.5 million a year.
Yeah.
To be the highest
And we
paid
can talk
assistant.
about too, like that's the other thing. Whatever advantage some of these coaches had, and maybe some of these spots, there was reports that came out today about Sacramento State who may have $50 million in NIL. Well,
And y'all say who?
Who's
Sacramento State.
Who's got to compete with that? Everybody on the West Coast, right? So like we've talked about situations like this where you just don't know where it's coming, who's pulling strings on guys who you thought you had the inside circle on. There's so much that goes on, and anybody can get into this game. And I'm not saying that part of it is wrong. All I'm saying is that's never been a part of college sports before. And now you're asking people who may have a dinosaur mentality towards this to be able to try to adjust, and that ain't easy for everybody to do because that's what great ones do. They adjust. Everybody ain't great. Let's just call a spade, right?
Right. It's
and that's where you've seen LSU adjust.
Sacramento State, dude.
Yeah, Michael Vick.
Kenyon Stone. That's his name from Coach Carter.
Coach Carter.
That was the only time I've ever heard of Sacramento State. Kenyon Stone, full ride, Sacramento State. Coach Carter got him there. Great. That was the only time I heard it. Now they're making waves in the NIL market.
You know what's crazy too? If this is
Michael
really
Vick, head coach.
Hey, this is really a thing there too. Like I think a school like that brings way more notoriety to this situation than even like an SMU, because people that like kind of know the game, they know SMU was something back then, but they know like they got sanctioned and hit hard for whatever they were doing back then. But like somebody's gonna see the Sac State thing and be like, well, I'm at this small school. Why can't we do it here?
Right.
Like they're gonna think like, what? They're nowhere near relevance. Right. Like, why can't we do it here? And it's gonna make it pop up even that much more everywhere else.
And look, there's a bunch of rich people that come out of some of these obscure schools that and look, they may be very good for academically and some. I don't know anything about Sacramento State other than the fact that they're in Sacramento. You know what I mean? Like I have no clue. Maybe they're not in Sacramento. Maybe maybe it just has the name Sacramento State. Who knows? But I'm sure they've had some successful alumni that have come out of there and probably made some good money out there in that area, the Northern California area. Like, I imagine that they have some money. You say, okay, we're going to go and do this, and boom, influx of $50 million. Wow.
And you make a massive swing at a head coach in Michael Vick, who's...
I'm about to say, think about it. You must have some money if you got a guy who never really, really played on the West Coast like that, right? Who is from Virginia, who went to Virginia Tech.
Never coached before.
Who played the majority of his career on the East Coast.
Right.
Never really coached before.
And has been out of football.
And you're thinking about trying to get. And he's like, I'm sure there's some intrigue to him. Tells you they're floating.
I don't know anything about Michael Vick in that sense, right? Like he hasn't been super vocal. Like you hear him on, on TV and analyzing games and stuff. But I've never really he's never been very vocal about coaching or, his ability to get these guys motivated. How do you think he'd be there?
I think you got to think about it. The traits to be a quarterback is to be a leader of a team, is to be a general, is to be a field general, is to know pretty much everything that goes on the field and plays and stuff like that. So you would be it's kind of like watching like catchers in baseball. A lot of those guys end up turning out to be good coaches, good managers because of how much of the game, because of how much command you have as a player, right? It's hard for me to believe you'd be just god-awful at it. Like, there's some ability over there. It's a matter of now, does he actually really want to do that? I think that turns out to be a lot of when it comes to being a quarterback. Because they all have that knowledge of the game.
Like I said, I don't know anything about it, and he could be great. But, Sacramento State making waves in college football, and I think they're just making their move into FBS.
Yeah.
So
$50 million in a new stadium will get you interested in,
Sacramento State football powerhouse.
Trying to make a splash.
I guess they've been very successful in the FCS world.
I don't know anything about it. I'm not even going to sit here and try to act like I know nothing about it.
No crew. Let's see. Sacramento State.
And while we wait for that information, Adam Schefter has been tweeting about this quite a bit, saying that he talked to Sacramento State President Luke Wood on his school's talks about head coaching head coaching job with Michael Vick. He has expressed interest in the position, and yes, I did meet with him about his interest in Sac State football and our athletic rise. As you can imagine, given the success of our athletic programs and our football head coach is an attractive role. So,
I mean, he says they're successful, but anybody can say they're successful. Let's see here. Football year-by-year results. Sacramento State, Big Sky.
mm-hmm.
That's what they're in. Okay. 2024, 3-9.
Mm-hmm.
2023, 8-5. Now, 22, good year, 12-1. 21 went 9-3, 9-4, then 2-8, 7-4. So, they went through. They don't really have a very long history of being successful. Now, from 19, 21, 20, they didn't play in 2020. They were one of the schools that didn't.
Is that where Judge went to school?
Sacramento State? He went to Fresno State.
Fresno State. There you go.
Fresno State.
Close. Not there, but close.
Yep. 2022 was the highlight. That was 12-1, best year of their existence. So, look, maybe they jump right into. Maybe they do the Colorado thing, even though Colorado was in the FBS and had an actual football history.
Yeah, they actually have pretty damn good football tradition.
Yeah. Wild world, wild time.
I've seen a tweet from one Austin Thomas. How much do you think his role has increased in what LSU's doing?
I think a lot. I think, he wasn't here last year, right?
No.
I think you're seeing the difference. And, Brian Kelly can say what he wants to say, and maybe he's changed his philosophy. I believe Austin Thomas coming in here and stabilizing that and kind of being the GM, I think that has also changed Brian Kelly's philosophy. I think he's obviously in Brian Kelly's ear. These are the guys we got to go get. This is how we go get them. And
just understanding the lay of the land.
Right.
Like what actually is going on. Exactly. What are people doing? Like, you may think this is asinine. Guess what? The field's doing it. So you either get low or you get left.
No doubt.
Kind of it's kind of what some of it probably turned into.
Is it coincidental? I don't think so. I think it's a direct correlation to him being the guy, the GM. You agree?
Because that's what I think this was part of the reason why they wanted to go get him. And if you look at his track record and what he was doing in the same role at Ole Miss, who was probably the best team in the portal last year.
Right. And they spent all that money. He understood how to do it, and it was impactful players. Like, if you go look at the guys that they got in the portal, they didn't really miss much. And last year and the year before, LSU didn't really hit much in the portal, right? And so, I think that's a good combination. You're going to have him, who's done it in the SEC, against a school that's not as easy to recruit to as LSU is. And so now he's doing it here at LSU, and you're seeing them reap the benefits of it.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely a direct correlation to that. That's my curtain call. I just found it.
Oh, nice.
You like that? It happened just now, 2 minutes ago. Or actually, according to Twitter, 24 seconds ago. LSU. Did you watch the LSU basketball game on Saturday?
I did. I bet on it too. At halftime, I took LSU money line. That was the
second game you've bet on LSU this year in basketball, and the second game they've lost. You bet the.
No, I've won. I've hit on it.
You've put the verbal ones that you told me.
Yeah.
Pitt didn't win that one.
No, but I got greedy as I went LSU money line when they were catching 10.5 at halftime, and I was like, oh, they have a run at them. Let's see. We'll make this interesting. They did.
You should have taken the 10.5.
I know. I'd have won.
You would have won.
And then I did McNeese money line the next game, and they were winning.
You were money line. You should have taken a spread on that.
I know. I would have been 2-0. I don't remember, but I was
they only lost by, I think, 3.
Yeah, they were dog walking Mississippi State that entire night, and then they lost it at the end. I was like, well, I'm not betting basketball anymore.
SEC basketball is
fire. LSU's the only team to lose.
LSU, they only have 2 losses.
But they were the only team to lose that night.
Oh, yeah. They
in the SEC.
The SEC at a conference schedule and record has been ridiculous.
Maybe the best ever.
I think 85%, 87%.
Maybe the best ever.
Yeah.
It's been incredible.
Yeah. It's SEC is an everything conference now, and it's exciting to watch. LSU basketball plays again tomorrow against Stetson. Obviously going into the SEC play, tough. Obviously Jalen Reed's not in there. He got hurt, season-ending injury with an ACL. We'll see how they're able to combat that throughout the course of the SEC. But they still have, I think, a couple games left. I think their first SEC game is January 4th, I believe, is their first one. Or January, something like that. 3rd, 4th, something. But it's they're not playing. They're not bad.
No, they're fun to watch.
They're fun to watch. They're deep. They got some talented guys.
The Jalen Reed injury hurts.
The Jalen Reed injury hurts a lot.
Because that's what I noticed most was that the
physicality down low. Like
they just missed. They just had opportunities to get some rebounds that they just don't have the same amount of talent down low as they have with him on the court. You become very guard heavy, and if they're not clicking on all cylinders, you're not gonna. If you can't rebound it, you go kind of cold from the floor. It's a recipe that's not very good or conducive for a win. But I think they play hard, and I think they'll be. You'll see in the SEC though. I mean, he was what. McMahon and they were 500 in conference last year.
Yeah, and they didn't have a great.
They were awful
record.
out of conference.
Right.
That's why they missed the tournament.
Yeah. Right. So I mean, they're 8-2. Let's say they're 10-2. I don't think they have a tough matchup. Another tough matchup until conference play. But let's say they go. I'm about to tell you the schedule. They have Stetson tomorrow, UNO on Sunday, Mississippi Valley a week from Sunday, so the 29th, and then you got Vandy at home on the 4th. So you would imagine they'll be 11-2 out of conference going into SEC play with 2 wins against Big 12 teams, right? On the road against Kansas State and then neutral site against Central Florida, which obviously when it comes down to tournament time, will help us into it.
Yeah, there's no real rhyme or reason to be able to explain it this many times into seeing this many dudes do it as a mistake and it be bad for your own team to not just get through. Like I know the feeling of dropping the ball like as soon as you get through. Like everybody kind of wants to do it to start celebrating. I get it. But after you've seen this happen so many times, and I know coaches,
get 2 feet in the end zone.
I know coaches talk about this ad nauseum at this point, to where it's just kind of crazy that you still find it happening. And you still find it happening with guys that kind of seem like knuckleheads and guys that seem like they got their shit together too. So it's kind of crazy how it happens. I know people black out when they score. It's crazy.
But like 2 feet in the end zone, see 2 feet in the paint, and then you drop the football. But it's a wild thing. It happened, crazy. I think 2 or 3 times this weekend in the NFL. Jonathan Taylor obviously had the worst one.
It cost somebody a parlay.
Did it? It's tough. The other guy, I didn't look. He wasn't trying to drop it, but I think he was trying to do something, and he just fumbled the football and it went out and lost it. It was just
there's been some people arguing on Twitter about how that shouldn't be the cost of doing business. If you have a clear path to the end zone,
no, false.
I agree. You can't. I mean that's a simple. Just get it done.
Yeah. I mean it's just,
now had Tyrann Mathieu gotten in trouble for it in the SEC championship, I would be fighting this. I would still be fighting the good fight with my brother over there, saying that's a touchdown that counts. What would have happened?
Just score.
Deshaun Jackson did this. He started all of this in high school.
He did.
It was the All-American game.
It was the All-American game. Yeah, it was.
He did, and then he did it in the NFL too, didn't he?
Oh yeah. Not a good habit to pick up.
No.
But it could be worse. You could be Jake Haener, who falls down before he even gets touched and then stands next to Derek Carr all game. Like, do you not know that nobody likes him? Like, why would you associate yourself with that man?
Well, he's got a modeling pictures for his quarterback.
Yeah, those didn't age well.
Like, that is, can we not do that?
He's not very good.
But you say he's not very good. On a positive note,
quarterback of the future.
Rattler.
Franchise.
I'm not saying he's a franchise guy or the quarterback of the future, but, like, the fact that you thought, I guess they had to give Jake Haener an opportunity, but the fact that you even thought that Jake Haener was going to be better, like, you can't tell me you can watch both of them throw
I'm not even sure you thought. I think at this point, like, hey, we had to because we're going into an offseason. We don't know where this thing's going forward.
We're going to keep one of y'all.
We've already given you a chance, and not to say, like, that's what we thought. At that time, when you don't have Olave, when you don't have some of these guys that are hurt, we knew it wasn't going to be great.
Right.
But we also had to give this one a chance, too. So I think they kind of had to do it that way.
Hey, I will say
which is why they, was like, hey, you take a seat.
Look, they had, I think, 4 first downs.
Yeah.
In the first half.
Ugh.
No. 4 completions.
Oh, yeah.
In the first half, right? Saints scored on 4 drives in the second half with Spencer Rattler. Tell you one thing. The ball comes out of his hand nice. Like, it jumps.
I mean, he always could spin it.
Dude.
That's what he's been doing ever since whatever that high school show was.
When he throws it, dude,
because he's not a big dude, but he can throw it.
It jumps. It looks good. It looks clean. He made some really good throws. Hit guys in stride. drove him all the way down with the help of the referee. 4-second delay. Gave the, I think he thought he was in college still. Stopped it with a first down, and then for 3 or 4 seconds, and then Spencer Rattler spiked it with 3 seconds left on the clock. Threw the touchdown that was potentially the game tire. Instead of kicking the extra point to go in overtime, 1 for 2, which I think is the right move. At that point, like, you're not playing for anything, and you're just trying to win games. You're trying to do some things that make it exciting. Go out for the win. Did not catchable ball. Talk about letting it go. Threw a little bit of a rocket ball, and in and out the hands of Juwan Johnson. I believe that's who it was intended for. And so they don't get it. Which, if you listen to the Pat McAfee show earlier today, they explained like that was great for the NFL because it did not affect anybody's betting.
On any parts of it. The over-unders and total. Well, not
the
anything.
Teasing part.
Yeah, the teasing part.
But who cares?
That's
Lloyd
would be upset, but there's not that's not the masses.
But like the masses are going to be the spread, the over/under. It didn't affect that, thankfully. Now, if you got it at 7 early in the week, I think it was at 7.5 for most of the week. Obviously, they scored. If they don't score a touchdown, they only win by 7. They wouldn't have covered if it was 7.5. So, luckily for the NFL, nothing really affected it gambling wise. It still hit the under. It wasn't going to hit the over. But wild miss by the referee there. Like, in that moment, wild.
I still think they may have gotten it off with 1 second.
I don't know, dude.
It was close.
I mean, it's just. And look, maybe they had more sense of urgency if that were the case.
Yeah.
But, like, I think. No. They can't say, oh, he's going to stop the clock. They didn't know he was going to stop the clock. Right? He stopped it, and then I was watching. I was like.
It's been on 9 for quite a while.
Well, I was
now.
like, is this. Did they change the clock? Because I know they changed the rules. Inside 2 minutes, did they stop it on first downs?
What do you think
now?
the clock person's doing at that point? Like,
But
what do you
hey,
think's going on?
That's home cooking, baby.
And he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
All he did was the referee directs him.
I'll stop it.
He did this, and so he stopped it, like the referee
But
said.
my point is, you think he's sitting there being like, "Yeah, this is wrong.
Yeah,
We're not supposed to be doing this."
Wow, thank you.
That's my point. Is like, do you think he's sitting there saying that to himself? Or?
No doubt. Why? Okay, you told me to. I'm not doing anything wrong. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Like smacking his boy next to him in the booth, like, look at this.
We're gonna get it off. We're gonna get a play off. But then you had to come out and see. I believe it was Luke Johnson from New Orleans that covers the Saints, obviously, and he was the one that talked to Ed Hockley's son. I don't know his name, Hockley. He's probably jacked, but he's like, we have no excuse.
They're both jacked.
Yeah,
it's a family thing.
Yeah,
they got a gym at the compound.
No doubt.
Just curls.
At the referee compound.
All they got is
Curls and
dumbbells.
triceps, dude.
Yeah, probably work out.
Make sure you tailor my sleeves.
Yeah, they work out in the officiating shirt.
There you go.
Yeah,
gotta make sure it's right.
But I mean, I guess it's good on him for not making an excuse. Like, yeah, it's something that can't happen. He made a mistake. It's like, well, is it something that you can go back and review? He's like, no, it's not reviewable. All of these things, and then that's when you get to like the things that the NFL does that are reviewable and aren't reviewable. It's just like situations that haven't happened, and they're I don't think we can look at that. I think, well, that would be probably something that you would like to if it directly impacts the end of the game. But here we are not reviewing it. But
then how do you review that?
Right,
'Cause you can't stop the game because now all of a sudden the clock is stopped.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm of the ilk to, like, we need to do less reviewing because it seems to be the most important plays that are reviewed with the most amount of, I guess, with such a keen eye. They're going through it with such a fine-tooth comb that these plays that, if you just kept it moving, that's a catch. But when it comes down to, like, the last 2 minutes and the NFL decides that they're going to review it, you get 16 angles of this thing.
Well, but I don't mind less. I don't think you need less reviewing, but what I do think is you need the expedited reviewing. Like that needs to be more prevalent.
Yeah,
I think it needs to be more of a thing. Like I hate the reviews that happens, and it legitimately it breaks the flow of the game, or it gives one team maybe a longer break, or it gives one team maybe longer to think about their next play than they really should have. I think that needs to be kind of more of a thing just to keep the flow of the game going.
Yeah, because they wanted to review the Alvin Kamara touchdown. They did that review where they expedited it.
Right.
And they
a year ago, that's 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, and they were in the booth going, "This can't be a catch." It's like he has firm control just with one hand. Just because he caught it with one hand doesn't mean it's not control. They're like, "Oh, touchdown!"
Yeah, I guess touchdown.
It's like they're so used to
kicking this thing in.
Yeah. So that's just a little bit of the NFL that's gone on. The Saints obviously
stink.
Had to go
Josh
for 2.
Allen,
I love
MVP.
the call.
Huh?
Love the call for going for 2.
I love the call. Right move.
Rizzy ball.
Right move. Have you seen the stat since Rizzi's become head coach on the field goal percentage against LSU? I mean, against the Saints?
No.
I think teams are 3-9. 3 for 9 on field goal attempts.
They tried to block another one, and they got in trouble.
Against the Saints. 3-9.
They tried.
Obviously, Rizzi's a special teams guy. But, like, they missed another one.
Yeah. And they got a
week.
penalty. And then they tried to do the hurdle over the center again, but he touched him this time, so they got called back.
Yeah.
But the last one,
3 of 9.
Breezy did it. It was like, this is incredible.
3 for 9. Well,
Why would that impact your
drive?
drive?
They got a little help.
Yeah.
They got a little help. Held the center down a little bit. Sneaky, though. They didn't get caught.
Sneaky. They know how to play those games.
No doubt. You got to try
It's
it.
all about, you got to push that line. You got to toe it a little bit. You got to say,
No doubt.
what's the rule? What's the rhetoric in this rule? Okay, can I sub this word for this? Let's try that. Like,
listen,
that's the game of it.
At that point, he's going to make the field like a 30-something yarder. So our best chance is to block it. If we can kind of sneak this through and block it, you get what happened. Or if it's a penalty, okay, all they're going to do is kick the field goal again. And so
That's the judgment call for the most part you want those guys to have to make, because they never want to have to make it the other way when you do make a big play like that.
Yep.
Unless it's literally egregious. So, like that, yeah, I mean, that's how the game goes, man. You take whatever inch you can get out of them situations.
Yeah, wild. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting stat. Obviously, special teams guru, just putting some voodoo on the opposing kicking team.
Seems like it would have gone the opposite way. Like
What
the
do you mean?
more that he's the head coach, that his focus on special teams would have gone down, you would think. But instead, he turned it up.
Right? Or maybe they just motivated. Special teams is even more motivated.
Or maybe he was doing some things that he wasn't allowed to do, and now he is. Like trying to hop over the center.
Yeah.
Or Dennis sounds like, don't do that stupid shit.
Probably.
Like,
Vikings
whoa, it works.
Vikings up 10-0 on the Bears already. I don't think the Bears left tackle has a chance. I mean, Caleb Williams almost died. Got sacked, fumbled the ball, went like 10 feet up in the air, and then,
He's having a tough go of it.
having a tough go. It looked like a prep school kid today walking in.
I saw that. It looked like an intern.
Yeah. It was, always had his own style. I think that's the best way to say it. His style is him.
And yeah, it's
His own.
Yeah, he owns it.
Whatever fits you, you know what I mean?
I mean,
Push
Joe
it.
Burrow has interesting style also.
No doubt.
Very upset with his coaching right now.
Very upset, and also very upset that
People are in his life.
they ruined his relationship
Possibly.
by outing him.
It did not ruin what he's doing on the field.
No,
right now,
because he's
good
still balling.
God,
He was not happy this
he is
weekend.
unconscious right now.
I think the video of him not happy on the sidelines is probably more about
Stems from
himself, maybe, or the offense turn. Do you think they run the table?
I don't.
And I think that's part of the frustration of.
I'm trying to look at their schedule. So they have Browns this week.
Was it 3 weeks left?
Oof. Broncos. It's Browns, Broncos, Steelers.
Yeah, I just don't. That's tough.
Yeah.
And if
Can't
they
lose.
do and somehow sneak their way in, then my goodness.
They went 3 straight losses. Ravens beat them by 1-4. And then 34-27 to the Chargers, 44-38 to the Steelers, and they've won the last 2, 27-20, 37-27. Now they got Browns with the Browns. Jameis Winston probably not starting anymore. Good run. It's a nice little. Listen, you get the highs and the lows. But you have, man, this guy. After his first 2 starts, they were talking about him potentially being the quarterback of the future for the Browns. Now, 2 starts after that, no longer starting. I mean, it hadn't been officially announced, but when the coach comes out and says, we're not sure who the starting quarterback is going to be, doesn't sound
Bode
good
well.
for the starting quarterback.
Him being
I love
him
James.
at the podium, like, I'm trying to pray these pick sixes away. I'm asking the Lord to get him out.
Especially when there's other quarterbacks on the roster who they actually invested draft capital into. Not saying that they gave him so much money, but you just want to give those guys. They're cheaper right now. The guy that's on the roster that's supposedly under him, he's cheaper.
But here's the
cheaper
deal.
option.
Jameis is going to play in the NFL for 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to be a backup everywhere.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
great
yeah.
in the clubhouse. And he's good enough to be the backup and go out and
Without a doubt.
win a couple games.
Yeah.
You don't want him being there for 17 straight games, but you want if he's out there for 5, you may go 3-2, which is what you want back. You want the backups to be able to keep
We've
you
seen
at least
one
500.
coach the interceptions out of him, and unluckily, he was
Pretty solid.
not bad at all.
You know, he's got
Not bad at all.
just under 3,000 yards passing. He's got – damn, Joe's got 36 touchdown passes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 36, 8 picks.
I think Joe Lamar and probably Josh Allen are sitting there with the.
If Joe Burrow's team was winning, he'd be in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, 100%.
But obviously not winning, so not in the MVP conversation. But yeah, I mean, Sean Payton's got Bo Nix playing good football. They're 9-5. They haven't made the playoffs in 8 years. Potentially the first year they're going to make the playoffs in 8 years with $100 million of dead cap money.
That's crazy.
Which is wild.
It's not 100. It's like 89 or something like
I
that.
think it's 93.
It's close.
93.
It's close.
$93 million.
Yeah, it's not 100, but it's close.
$93 million.
A lot of that's being eaten up by Russ,
or
but
whatever
it's,
it is. Yeah,
it's a lot.
And
maybe it's 80 million. You're right.
And Russ is playing well for the Steelers.
No, you know what the 93 number is? The 93 number is the dead cap money you would have if you got rid of Deshaun Watson for 2 years. You owe him 70-something million.
It's all guaranteed.
Next year, and then $93 million of dead money, a guaranteed money you owe him.
It's a lot of money, Bo. That is a lot of quiche.
What a life. What a life he lives.
He's not enjoying it right now. I'm sure
No, he's not.
That rehab is a very low place
Yep.
for that injury and
No doubt.
kind of how his last 2+ years have gone.
Yeah.
It's
miserable.
It's tough to be Deshaun Watson
Yep.
right now. I can tell you that.
Not great. Has not had a good time. Every 2 weeks, though, he feels good for a little bit.
Looks
on the check.
the check looks good.
It looks good, and then after that,
The
back to
account
not
looks
being good.
great.
Yep.
The ability to do what you want to do it, but a lot of tough.
Justin Jefferson's just touchdown. Obviously, scored a 7-yard touchdown catch. You're playing against him?
No, I'm out.
Oh.
I took 2 first-round losses. Both of my fantasy teams out of here. It's over. See you. Finito. Thanks for coming.
Always next year. I'm about to make a sneaky playoff run.
Are we gonna do our parlay this week with the 3 playoff?
Oh,
games?
absolutely.
Yeah, of
definitely.
course.
Listen, we hit this one. Damn it.
It would be the
Football's
right way
gone.
be the right way to cap off the year.
Well, I guess
we have
we got
2 more.
session. We got
Yeah.
a couple sessions. If we get a 3-game parlay and hit it with the 4 games, we're
Cooking.
I think that should be a good way to cap it off. It should be the way we did do it. I think we're gonna end it.
End it with a dub.
And end with a dub. I think the odds will probably be the highest. Maybe not. All right. You want to get to the seggies?
We
You have
do.
Any other topics we need to touch on?
No, I was trying to keep up to date on Twitter to see if anything popped, but it was killing the stream, so I had to go.
I'm up to date on
Just do hashtag LSU and see what pops up.
nothing.
Yeah, so I think we'll probably have some more news at some point tomorrow. But for now, we do have one segment and then another segment, and the first segment being Dozy Place Mistake of the Day. I don't know if you've seen this yet because you were out of pocket for the Sunday watching festivities of the NFL. But rest in peace to 7 hours of commercial-free football.
Huh?
It finally happened.
Wait, what?
There was a commercial in Red Zone?
Yeah,
Really?
with audio.
Really? Like taking the screen off of it wasn't like a split screen?
It was, but this was the first time. And is it Scott?
Scott Hansen.
Scott Hansen has been going
That
through
means
it
Scott
on-
Hansen's check got immensely larger
Yeah.
once they started
Whoops.
doing this.
I don't know if it's on purpose, and I don't know if it's going to happen forever. It was like 8 to 10 seconds of audio and commercial. Then they found a game and threw it on. But Scott Hansen has been going through the apology tour. He takes this very seriously, and he's almost heartbroken that it happened. But with every streak must come to an end.
Damn,
But
that's tough.
A commercial in Red Zone for 8 seconds, and he feels
Who's that playing? Is
buried.
it Giants and who? Was that the first window or the second window? Because the second window only has 3 games. I'm trying to figure out why is there only 1 game up there?
Yeah.
What was going on?
Maybe commercials on
Could
the
have
other
been,
ones.
but man,
Now, here's my question. Was it a production error where they didn't...
I don't know if that's what I think
know what I mean?
happened. Yeah,
Like, it
because then they
wasn't-
pull up a camera of the production room.
Right. Did they?
Yeah, so they, I guess, trying to pass the buck.
You know what I mean? That was a split screen, but was that supposed to be 2 split? Was that a split screen with
Of the
2
wrong
games?
thing.
And then
Right.
the game went to a commercial, and you just didn't move it off of it yet. Was that an issue? I don't know.
But he went to Twitter and he said, "Thank you for watching week, I believe it's 15. What was your favorite part of the show today?" And somebody quote tweeted him and goes, "It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it." And he hit him with the sad face emoji. So he's tried to get under this, but people are really taking this seriously. He's like, "You had to know you're going to get dragged for this," and he's just trying to respond back to everybody like, "I'm sorry."
Sidebar.
Yeah, not his fault.
Anybody see him talk about his kind of like game day ritual and with the stuff that he does. Mm-hmm. He doesn't eat or drink before.
Yeah, so he can't. Doesn't have to go to.
Maybe he had to go to the bathroom.
Bodily
Nothing.
functions.
Nothing. That's incredible.
See, I would 1,000% just go bottle mode.
No doubt.
Like, I'm not doing all that to myself.
No doubt.
Or probably doesn't eat because he's all hyped up on amphetamines. Like, you would have to take an Adderall to do that.
Dude, that's a hard job.
It is. I mean,
For the day that you're doing it, and obviously the prep for it too.
Yeah,
because he
gets
also
to know.
said like he lives like his basement's 4 or 5 screens. Like he's like always stimulated with a bunch of stuff. That day though, doing Red Zone on Sunday, from start to finish, that has to be
exhausting.
When you're done, it has to be like. People don't realize
If he's married with kids, now he's got to go home that night.
He's not.
And be like,
No, he's not.
Oh, he's not
I
married.
didn't think that's why he
Yeah.
talked about it. He doesn't. He's not married. He doesn't have kids, and I think he said something about like he thinks it's because of himself. He's like, dude, I'm always so stimulated by so much. I can't. I don't know. He's got a lot going on.
Do you think that
I wouldn't want to talk to anybody when I was done.
Do you think he watches the Sunday night game, or he's like, get this shit off my TV?
No, I bet you watch
I think he
Sunday
does
night
to
game.
decompress, like to just sit there and just. I think he does.
Taking
Maybe-
all the
maybe
commercials.
he
Guys like that, they don't. He don't want to get away from it.
Yeah.
He ain't
Maybe
trying to
drinks
get
one
that
of
far.
these indigo seltzers, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
sink into the
He
couch.
definitely has like a,
He has to have a downer.
Oh, yeah. Indigo
Right.
seltzer, root beer,
30 milligrams really puts you in a good
then
spot.
120.
That, I don't know if you'd enjoy
You don't
that
see
one.
him again until next Sunday.
I don't know if you would enjoy that one.
Then nice whiskey.
Hey, I got a question before we get to the second. So I'm watching. This is the other game, Falcons and Raiders, right? They're talking about the Raiders firing Antonio Pierce, right? And look, you saw the way they played last year. Obviously, they potentially have the number 1 pick in the draft this year. I feel like Al Davis and is it Mark? No, it's Mark Davis, not Al.
I think it's
Davis.
Mark now.
Mark
yeah.
Davis. Al.
Last of a
Just
dying
win, baby.
breed.
I feel like Mark Davis and the GM and whoever else is doing it kind of did him dirty. Like, you wanted him to go out there and you want him to play with Aiden O'Connell. And
I think anybody, if I bring in a new head coach and I don't give him the opportunity
No
to go
doubt,
hand
dude.
pick his quarterback, whether it's in the draft or
Or
in
free
free
agency?
agency, that you ain't giving him a fair shake.
you're
You're
making
not
him
giving him
play
a fair shake.
Gardner Minshew, Gardner Minshew was a good story, and I'm sure he's a fine backup because he's probably good to have around. He can go out there and do it, but like he's starting, Aiden O'Connell starting, and now you're starting Desmond Ridder, who I didn't even know he was on the team.
Me either.
And now they're doing reverse double passes that didn't work, and the receiver gets sacked.
Yeah,
Mike
I mean,
Haydenell is also a Saints former Saint.
there is, I don't think, like you said, it's not fair to Antonio Pierce, but I don't even know how they fix it in the draft. I don't know who they're.
They go get Shador.
Shador, yeah, he would be great in Las Vegas, too.
Have
They
you not
need
been
a
following-
star.
Have you not been following his Twitter?
I don't know. He was in New York throwing the ball to Malik. He was
That's
having a
it.
good time there.
That's it. Every time the Las Vegas Raiders would lose, he would say, "Thank God, thank you God," with praying hands, which are really high-fiving hands, not praying hands. But said what they so basically meaning he wants to go there, or it seems like
He wants to go to Las Vegas?
he wants to go to Las Vegas. And then the other guy, I guess the other rookie coach, former player, Gerard Mayo. Everybody's saying they want him out of there, but you know.
He just said something that he threw somebody under the bus. I forgot who it was, but they're like, this is a fireable offense. I think it might have been the guy that hired him. But and then you had another Las Vegas Raider get arrested over the weekend. I don't remember, but he drove his car off of an embankment that was 4 feet and was triple the legal limit. Which legal limit is, I think, we've all seen Gundy. Mike Gundy's like, well, I mean, if you want to pull me over every day, then I'd be over the legal limit every time.
Basically saying he's an alcoholic.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, then he likes to drink and drive.
Yeah. Classic.
He's like, what is the legal limit? He's like, he was under it. He's like 0.04. You're like, what is that, 4 beers? Like, what, you think you're not driving home after 4 beers? That's nothing. Like, I would love to see Gundy
I
get
get
after.
what he was trying to, what he was saying.
Right.
It
It would have went over well like 25 years ago, a little bit better. Nah, you can't say that.
I
today.
understand what he was trying to say. The perception of that is not great.
It's one of those things that, like, you don't say the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, like everybody's
knows-
thinking
everybody's good with it.
everybody's thinking that. Let's just not say that.
But you can't say it.
Or
But
say it to your close friends and family. We're like, okay, yeah.
how'd you get home? Oh,
Yeah, I was fine. I had
I was
2
fine.
drinks.
Yeah, none, 0.
No drinks.
Yeah.
Have you been drinking? No, sir.
Would you get a catheter if you were Hanson?
We're going back to that.
Yeah. Well, I just
No.
thought about it.
Not catheter. That's why would I do that every Sunday?
Les Miles used to do that.
What? No, he
Yeah.
didn't.
That's the rumor.
No, he didn't.
Don't look at me, bro. I don't want to know nothing about that. Don't look at look over here and look at me.
I would. I mean, you have no break, so like, it's hard. It's hard to do the bottle thing.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
don't have a break to like.
The people would
You
know
have
at
to,
some
like,
point.
yeah, like, you know what I mean? It's not like the room is like the desk is. You can see everything pretty much.
Except
So-
for yeah, but then it would be like, it smells like piss over here. It'd be like Dumb and Dumber in the car with the beer bottles.
These are the things that goes through Lloyd's head, by the way.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Like, cause imagine if you worked.
I mean,
with-
look right now. Like I wouldn't be able to do it. I have to go pee right now. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't do 7 hours of. Or I just.
you
pee on
didn't make
myself.
it. You didn't make it through halftime.
Right. I'd pee on myself.
That would be awesome.
What?
And you had like a pee counter.
What?
I don't
Piss
know.
dog.
I don't know if that would.
Mark
really
Schlereth.
fit- I don't know if that would fit for the red zone. What did Mark Schlereth do?
He used to piss his pants during football games.
Every team's got something.
Yeah.
Every team's got
Everybody.
That's why they call it
listen,
stink.
If it was raining, if it was a raining game, piss my pants all the time.
every team. I never did it, but every team's got one of those.
I mean, it
If it was, we played in a raining game in high school, and like,
peed everywhere.
of course, piss on yourself because you
Mikey used to piss on himself all the time.
Yeah.
all the time.
Drink it.
Not drinking, just on myself.
Oh man.
Just peeing.
I told y'all a story. I mean, on the trailer, we have the story. I had a teammate.
There isn't a football team that's running around.
Yeah, where
that
nobody's
doesn't
peeing on
have
himself.
one. No, it just is what it is.
I guess you can't. White pants is tough.
That's why I said only if it was raining. Like if it was raining and your whole body, you can't
I
tell.
don't
the
know,
difference.
Coach. You in South Louisiana, like them August, September games in high school and college.
Well, the white
You get a
pants
little
thing may have a little stain.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
what
mean?
I'm
But,
saying.
Some boys don't
if
care,
it's-
bro.
Yeah.
Some boys
Well,
don't
then
care.
here's the deal: you go and you do it. You just go to the water and you just. Boom.
Some boys don't care.
Oh God! I mean, I would imagine like
It's wild.
there's some high school white running backs that are just like, man, you covered in piss, dude. Like, yeah, I don't want you to tackle me. Like, I don't want to tackle you. You're disgusting. Oh, speaking of white running backs, Guggenheim officially
Transfer portal.
No,
Oh.
out of eligibility.
Ah.
He is now your new Nichols running backs coach.
Ah.
Wow, that was quick.
That was
Good.
good.
Nice transition.
That was quick.
Literally a day after.
Yep.
Season's over.
Come
Nice
on over.
transition. That's
Coach
the
is waiting.
that's the veteran catcher in AAA. They say, hey, we're gonna keep giving you this job, but like, would you rather? We would kind of think you should probably coach. Okay, I'll just do that. And then next year in spring training, instead of him catching, he's coaching the catchers.
Right.
That's the same thing.
Back on the bucket.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Football guy. Football guy. Good
People
for
wanted
Guggenheim.
him out the portal. I'm like, well, he's out of
The
eligibility.
Bowman guy from Oklahoma State finally done of eligibility.
Is he out?
Out.
He
Done.
got it. He got
Career's
approved
over.
another year.
Huh?
He got.
What'd he say he's done?
Yeah, he's like 8 years is too many.
DJ
Uigui.
Uigui is not going to be at Florida State again. And you may say, well, what school is he transferring to? He is not. He is trying his hand at the NFL draft. He is now declaring for the NFL draft. And look,
College thing is hard. It's gonna
didn't
be
work
way
out in
easier
college.
than-
Maybe you get not. Maybe it's better. It's easier in the NFL.
I'm more of a pro style guy.
Maybe you get an opportunity to go be on a practice squad.
Got a lot of starts under him, so you know.
Good
somebody-
lord.
a lot of experience.
A lot of experience. They like that these days.
Do
Different
you think
offenses.
that he tried to go into the portal and people were like,
No, I think he was
I don't
like,
think
look,
he.
I've-
I don't think he has any eligibility left, which doesn't say much because I think he's been.
Well, I
in
think he
college
does because
for-
why would you announce you're going to the NFL draft if you don't have any?
I mean, I think they all do, right? It's still at the,
I don't know.
I mean, if I was a senior and then it would be like, I'm gonna try my hand at the draft. But if I had some eligibility, I could put out, say, hey, I'm foregoing. I'm entering my name in the NFL. Like, I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe he just wants to do it to make himself feel good.
Maybe.
Who knows? All right, let's get to the Seggies. Mistake of the day brought to you by
Already
our friends
did it.
at Dozy Place. Did we?
mm-hmm.
What did we do?
Red zone.
Oh, that was it. You did the red zone. My bad. Curtain call.
It's a huge mistake.
Yeah, it is a huge mistake. Curtain call brought to you by our friends at Perkins and McKenzie.
I have one. If you are ready,
I'm ready.
the world-renowned Pop-Tart Bowl has gotten an upgrade. Now,
I saw this.
the trophy has a working toaster inside of it for the Pop-Tarts.
Honestly, that's awesome. Like,
They've turned this into like, hey,
It's
this-
marketing.
listen,
Dope.
if we're gonna make this, if it's gonna be a joke, we're gonna have fun with it.
I mean, this has got to be the only like trophy in the world that's like functional, actually does something.
So here's my question: you win the Pop-Tart Bowl. Does that toaster go in the players' lounge?
Oh.
Does that toaster go into like the cafeteria?
Absolutely.
Has to, right?
No,
Yeah.
it goes in a trophy case.
If you need it, you gotta go ask the
Yeah, you get-
toaster.
Unlock
And
this
you
thing
actually
for me.
build a hole in the back where you can actually plug and pop some stuff in there.
Oh, here's my question:
And it probably comes with-
Pop-Tarts growing up.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Were you a toaster Pop-Tart? Or
Nah,
were you
dog,
just
give me
out
straight
the
out the
wrapper,
bag,
straight-
bro.
yeah.
Give me out the bag. Strawberry joints.
I just-
I used to like the cherries too, though.
I like the strawberry and cherry. The s'mores is pretty fire.
This is where
I'm a chocolate guy.
all of those are fine to not heat up. The brown sugar cinnamon heated up
Gotta
with
heat it up.
oh my god.
Nah, I used to rock that one too. Straight.
straight.
Yeah, I don't care.
Once I heated it up
Brown sugar-
once.
hey, that was a good one. That was a good one with a nice glass of milk at that age. Oh, I was smacking it.
Pop-Tarts are fire.
Yeah, that one in particular is like
If you go a 12-month span now, there might be twice over a year where I'm like, I just see him and I'm like, I'm gonna grab.
Really?
I was about to ask you, when was
I've
the last
done
time you had a Pop-Tart? So
I've-
you do it regular
No,
per
I
year.
said
Not
12
regular,
months.
but
Like
you do it
twice during a year,
Yeah.
maybe.
like I couldn't tell you the last time I had
either.
one.
Years, probably.
Yeah.
Literally, like, in the grocery store, I'm like, bro, that
Now-
why that look good, bro.
I
Maybe
think-
that's the
think-
best about being an adult. Like, dude, I could buy these Pop-Tarts.
Well, I think one of the, I think
They
one
got
of the,
me.
I think one of the best things, like one of the things I'm looking forward to most about having kids is like pantry. We got some.
Oh, you
want
want
to
to steal all this stuff?
Yeah,
got
you
some
gonna
more
be-
of those things there.
You're gonna be
Goldfish
eating all the
stocked.
snacks.
You doing that right?
Goldfish
You doing that right now?
Pop-Tarts. That's what I'm saying. Stocked.
Little
You could
Debbie.
have, phew,
This could be bad for you.
Lil Mikey got no snacks.
Cosmic brownies.
Hey, Lil Mikey got no snacks because Dad just been smacking them all. Oatmeal pies, he's eating them all.
Allie's gonna be hiding it from me.
Yeah.
Put it in a different pantry for the kids.
Did you have the friend that had the pantry?
Oh,
Like-
dude, you have the friend that has a pantry. We didn't have the pantry.
No,
We
it
had a
wasn't at our
couple
house
things,
either.
But not the pantry. I go to my cousin's house.
Stocked.
Oh, best pantry I've ever seen in my life. It was always going down the kid aisle.
Yeah.
Candy aisle and freaking.
It's like your mom
Grocery store.
like buys all this for you. Like,
damn.
yeah, dude, it's
And-
every
and-
time.
And the the good pantry always has the airtight clear
seal.
containers that
the
like you
cereal?
just pour the cereal. I'm like, damn, they're serious about their snacks. This is awesome.
And you
Fruit roll-ups, fruit by the foot.
With
The one you
everything.
used to do like this before you even open the door to you. Like, what y'all got in here today?
You get your basket that you walk around the grocery store with, and you start putting the stuff in the basket. Then you bring it to the room to go. Oh, dude, the best.
Tyler Leday, his mother.
That was him?
Yeah, it's still elite. We go over there to like watch he has a master's party every year, and it's
Yeah.
still like stocked like it was when we were kids.
Yeah, it's
like,
amazing.
And multiples of everything.
It's amazing. It's like when you look on Instagram and you like see these people that like have these like pristine, organized refrigerators or like
Yeah.
pantries. I'm like, how do y'all do that? I can see doing it one time.
Yeah.
But like
It's hard to keep it. Boy, it's hard to
Yeah.
keep it.
Yeah. It
Hard to
looks
keep it
great.
like
I would love that.
Yeah, when they have
I'm
the
not
fridge
gonna-
with like organized like Coca-Cola, Sprite, Dr.
I'm
Pepper.
confirmed
like,
they all got
buying
like
all this.
they got like maids that come in and
Do
do
that,
it
no
for
doubt.
them.
No, they get Instacart delivered. The maid takes it out from the front door and just restocks it every time.
Yeah.
No doubt.
That would be nice.
It would be great.
Instead of like my fridge is a
And
disaster.
my pantry is a disaster.
Yeah, I can't
There's
find
things
anything.
everywhere. The pantry is a pantry/storage.
Yeah.
Like, hey, things that we can't fit in the cabinet. Things that we can't fit in the cabinets, we're just gonna put on top of the shelf of the pantry. So it looks
What
like
is
this
this?
shit- yeah.
Pantry/storage.
Like, Jesus.
Is this 2x4 of
Yeah.
it?
What's this ladder doing in this pantry?
Yeah.
So,
That's on the
there's
top
a-
step.
yeah,
Yeah.
I found a screw in my cereal. What's
Yeah.
going on here? I don't know. Just
Don't worry about that. Don't
loose
chew
screw.
it too
Don't worry
hard.
about it.
Eat
Don't
nails
worry
for
about
breakfast. Toughen up.
Oh my god.
Oh,
great.
okay.
I got one.
Yep.
Yeah, I got one here too. Hadn't been much great that's come out of this camp this year. It's been a tough year for the boys, but none other than Cam Jordan. I'll give him some love. The most 2-sack or 2+ sack games in the history of the New Orleans Saints. He now owns that record, which is, I would imagine, I don't know if it's this year, but he's getting close to the end of the line. This is kind of a good one to put on the resume as well to kind of go forward. Be interesting to see, and I think he probably is going to be one that'll have his jersey hung in the Superdome. So,
Yeah, he's Saints
Well,
Ring
yeah.
honor for sure.
No doubt.
yeah, a little love to him there.
No doubt. My curtain call, I just read this outrageous tweet that I'm going to share after this, but my curtain call is to, if you watch the beginning of the Vikings,
Mm-hmm.
let me try this again. If you watch the beginning of the Vikings-Bears game, they have the guest captains. Chris Carter comes out there with the Randy Moss jersey. Randy Moss obviously dealing with some cancer right now. Hopefully, prayers up to him. Everything's good. But they came out with his jersey honoring him. I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously, Randy Moss was one of the all-time greats as a wide receiver, but he's been great on Monday Night Countdown, great on ESPN, and he's going through a tough.
Yeah, I think he's been cleared of cancer.
Yeah, but he's recovering.
Recovering.
Yeah.
And then you saw Justin Jefferson score a touchdown and
Yeah, that
do
was
the
awesome
celebration
too.
for Randy Moss. So
Yeah.
pretty cool. One of the best stat lines of all time when he had 3 catches, 3
That's
touchdowns.
what I remember. I made the reference with Chris Hilton had the 2 catches for like 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. I was like, damn, he's trying to
that Randy
best to the Randy game.
The Randy stat
3
line.
catches, 100 whatever.
153 yards, 3
I
touchdowns.
said it was like 160 something.
Yeah, crazy. Like none of these were.
Wild.
There was one in the red zone.
Randy.
Wild. And
They
they
used
weren't
to-
and they were all deep balls. Just go beat.
That's what I'm saying. 150 yards on 3. Like
Yeah. Was that Culpepper or was that
it was everybody.
Cunningham?
He had the best.
Who's the quarterback?
It was
Was it Randall Cunningham or was it Dante
I
Culpepper?
think that was Culpepper.
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 But they're, like his
Oh, yeah,
highlight.
it was that.
Yeah, get your roll on.
Rumbling, bumbling.
But he would just to have Randy like that had to be so much fun because Dante had a cannon. He's like, I'm gonna throw this bitch as far as I can.
Hey,
Like
it
Jeff
was so
George.
funny to see him just do this.
Uh-huh.
He's-
Y'all are cooked.
You already knew what it
Yeah,
was.
off the
Hey,
line.
can you imagine being the DB seeing him doing that? Be like, oh no.
I know it's
thinking,
coming.
but thinking you in like great position too. Like, oh no.
He's about to gear up. Damn.
I think it was. Oh, they're not showing the thing. I think it was. Was it against Dallas?
Yeah.
It was Randall Cunningham.
It could have been.
Was it
like,
random?
Yeah, it
He
was
went
right before
from-
Culpepper got there.
He went from.
Tulane. Wasn't Randall Cunningham? No, where'd he go? Did he go? No, where'd he go? Where'd he go to school?
I don't know. But
Not too late.
there was
Not Tulane.
There's a rash of quarterbacks before that Randy kind of played with. Like Randy Cunningham, they brought back when he was with the Eagles forever. Then Dante and like Jeff George.
UNLV. I'm an idiot.
But he made everybody look good. Tom Brady, obviously, that one worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
18
Okay. Let me
touchdowns.
give you this. Let me give you this tweet before we get off the air. Guy named Ben Carey posts modern day transfer portal. Georgia tatted on his arm.
Oh, I saw this.
Penn State jersey and USC profile pic. Bear Alexander. Remember everybody wanted him? They said that was the guy, big recruit. This man's at 3 of the biggest schools in the country in his career. All 3. I mean, that's a wild deal. He has a Georgia tattoo. He's got his profile picture is USC, and he's flexing in a Penn State uniform. So he's obviously transferring to Penn State.
And he 4 years in high school, 4 separate high schools.
Didn't you say that?
Yeah, it's true.
You said he's going to go to 8 schools in 8 years.
Yeah, he could.
Holy
He's on
shit, you
7.
did call that.
Yeah.
You called that. You said that. Because
Yeah.
we're talking about him potentially, like, man, when he come to LSU, he goes, no, he's going to go to 8 schools in 8 years.
Yeah.
When you really think about it, like that's
7 schools in 7 years right now.
living the military life.
He is.
That's wild.
Boy, whenever he gets married, he's going to have a lot of people at his wedding. He's got a lot of people he made friends with.
Tell you what.
Or maybe no friends.
Maybe none.
that's-
Or maybe no
maybe
friends.
no
Maybe no
friends,
shows
but I
up.
tell you what he will have. He gonna have a nice little basement, coach. He got all kind
Oh,
of jerseys.
yeah.
No doubt.
You
Are these
imagine if he has an
college?
NFL career, he
Yeah.
got a nice little basement. All his.
4 high schools, 3 colleges, going to be a 4th
Man.
college. He'll get traded in the NFL. That's awesome.
Alabama junior defensive tackle Jaheim Otis transfers from Alabama to Colorado.
Yeah,
Mr.
I saw them
Otis, huh?
trending.
He was
5-star.
number 1 defensive player in ESPN's transfer portal rankings, 5 overall. Started 13 games during his first 2 years at Alabama as a former top 40 recruit. Go get him, Dion. All right, that's all we got for you today on this beautiful Monday. Enjoy your doubleheader, which I hate. Hate Monday night
Me too.
doubleheaders, especially when the games aren't great.
I don't really understand them. I don't know
Either,
why they're
'cause
doing it.
You're fighting against each other.
Yeah, I don't really like it.
I don't get it. But enjoy that. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll be back live in studio on Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. It's Ask Mikey Mitch. Obviously, we're going to promote it, hopefully, and get your questions in. Hopefully, there's some more action in the transfer portal the next couple of days that we have to report. And, yeah, we'll be back. Looking forward to it. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you can't watch us. You like listening to us or anywhere you get your pods. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll see you on Wednesday. Peace.
Deuces.